Hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application On This Day, the icon of which is shown as cutout prevention at the beginning and end of each episode. The music in the background is Cloud 10 by Fareoh, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Anyway, on with the show! Today is Tuesday, aka Tuesday, May 10th, 2016. In 2013, the Freedom Tower, aka One World Trade Center, became the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. In 2005, a hand grenade thrown by Vladimir Arutinian landed around 65 feet or 20 meters from U.S. President George W. Bush while he was giving a speech to a crowd in Tbilisi, Georgia. Unfortunately, to the dismay of most of the world, it malfunctioned and did not detonate. In 2002, FBI agent Robert Hansen was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for selling United States secrets to Russia for $1.4 million in cash and diamonds. In 1997, the Maze Land Kering, a storm surge barrier in the Netherlands and also one of the world's largest moving structures, was opened by Queen Beatrix. In 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's first black president. In 1981, during the Fifth French Republic, Francois Mitterrand won the French presidential election and became the first socialist president of France. In 1979, the Federated States of Micronesia became self-governing. In 1975, Sony introduced the Betamax videocassette recorder in Japan. In 1972, the Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, aka Warthog, made its first flight. In 1962, Marvel Comics published the first issue of The Incredible Hulk. In 1960, the nuclear submarine USS Triton completed Operation Sandblast, which was the first underwater circumnavigation of the Earth. In 1954, Bill Haley and his Comets released Rock Around the Clock, the first rock and roll record to reach number 1 on the Billboard charts. In 1948, the Republic of China implemented temporary provisions granting President Chiang Kai-shek extended powers to deal with the communist uprising, and will remain in effect until 1991. In 1946, the first successful launch of a United States V-2 rocket occurred at White Sands Proving Ground. In 1941, during World War II, Rudolf Hess parachuted into Scotland in a vain attempt to negotiate a peace deal between the United Kingdom and Nazi Germany. Also during 1941 and also during World War II, the House of Commons in London was damaged by the Luftwaffe in an air raid. Next time, Nazi Germany, if you want to negotiate peace, don't bomb the country you're trying to barter with on the same day. Oh, wait. In 1940, during World War II, the United Kingdom invaded Iceland. Also in 1940 and also during World War II, Winston Churchill was appointed Prime Minister of the UK, following the resignation of Neville Chamberlain. Also during 1940 and also during World War II, Germany invaded Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Also in 1940 and also during World War II, German raids on British shipping convoys in military airfields began. Also during 1940 and also during World War II, German fighters accidentally bombed the German city of Freiburg. Wow, today was a busy day in 1940. In 1933, Nazi Germany started staging massive public book burnings. In 1924, J. Edgar Hoover was appointed as the first director of the United States' Federal Bureau of Investigation, aka FBI, and remained so until his death in 1972. In 1908, Mother's Day was observed for the first time in the U.S. in Grafton, West Virginia. In 1904, the Horshensee Motor Wagon Werke AG was founded and would later become the Audi Company. In 1893, the Supreme Court of the United States of America, during the Nix versus Hedden case, ruled that tomatoes are vegetables, not fruits, under the Tariff Act of 1883. In 1877, Romania declared itself independent from the Ottoman Empire, following the Senate adoption of Mikhail Kogalin-Isanus Declaration of Independence. This became recognized on March 26, 1881, after the end of the Romanian War of Independence. In 1876, the Centennial Exposition was opened in Philadelphia by U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant and Brazilian Emperor Dom Pedro II. In 1872, Victoria Woodhull became the first woman to be nominated for President of the United States. In 1879, the first transcontinental railroad linking the eastern and western U.S. was completed at Promontory Summit, Utah, with the Golden Spike. In 1865, during the American Civil War, Jefferson Davis was captured by Union troops near Irwinville, Georgia. In 1857, during the Indian Rebellion of 1857, the First War of Indian Independence began when Sepoys mutinied against their commanding officers at Meerut. In 1849, the Astor Place riot occurred, in which a riot broke out at the Astor Opera House in Manhattan, New York City, over a dispute between actors Edwin Forrest and William Charles Macready, causing the deaths of at least 25 and the injury of over 120 others. In 1837, the Panic of 1837 occurred, in which banks failed in New York City and unemployment reached record levels. In 1824, the National Gallery in London opened to the public. In 1775, during the American Revolutionary War, representatives from the 13 colonies began the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia. Also in 1775 and also during the American Revolutionary War, a small colonial militia led by Ethan Allen and Colonel Benedict Arnold captured Fort Ticonderoga. In 1773, the Parliament of Great Britain passed the Tea Act, designed to save the British East India Company by granting it a monopoly on the North American tea trade. So it seems that maybe government shouldn't allow businesses to monopolize because it might cause a revolution. History has ways of repeating itself, especially if the cause is human ignorance. In 1768, John Wilkes was imprisoned for writing an article for the North Briton. This action provoked rioting in London. In 1655, England, with troops under the command of Admiral William Penn and General Robert Venables, annexed Jamaica from Spain. In 1503, Christopher Columbus visited the Cayman Islands and named them Las Tortugas after the numerous turtles there. In 1497, Amerigo Vespucci allegedly left Cadiz for his first voyage to the New World. And in 28 BC, not BCE, before Christ, not before Common Era. This political correct crap needs to stop. Anyway, a sunspot was observed by Han Dynasty astronomers during the reign of Emperor Cheng of Han, which became one of the earliest dated sunspot observations in China. Births: Fred Astaire, 1899, John Wilkes Booth, 1838. Deaths: John Wayne Gacy, 1994, Stonewall Jackson, 1853, Paul Revere, 1818. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. For your dose of Best Events Daily, I am Aoxander, and you are you. Toodles!